Okay, so earlier today, maybe like a few hours ago, I got to watch Spider-Man Brand New Day, Teenage Kraken. And as I've said in some of my recent videos, I try to have something in the background, if I can, that has to do with the subject. I have Victini on Mothra because I have a Godzilla video I need to do. But on top of that, I have a pair of socks. And these are Spider-Man socks, and these were specifically from a friend's wedding in which I was a groomsman. I believe it was 2019. And every groomsman got a different pair of socks with a different superhero on it that he had assigned to everybody, and mine was Spider-Man. And I think that's really neat. Like, I really love Spidey. It's something like this might feel weird to say about a pair of socks, but I felt quite honored, and I was able to find them in my drawer, so I have those in the background. So let's talk about this ding ding movie. Okay, so I am gonna try to go like non-spoilery as much as I can. Boy, there's a lot of this movie I can't really talk about without getting into some spoilers. But there will be a point where I'm just like, all right, full spoilers, let me talk about everything. I have notes, they are not organized, it's just thoughts as I could kind of get them down after watching the film. Number one thing I want to say is I loved it. I absolutely, sincerely loved it. It is hard for me to say if it's my favorite of the Tom Holland movies, like the MCU Spider-Mans, because I feel like I say that after every MCU Tom Holland movie. I'm like, oh, well, this is the best one. Well, this is now my favorite. And it's been a good while since I think No Way Home is the only one I've seen more than once. And like I've seen them all in theaters, so it's been a while since Homecoming, and it's been a while since No Way Home. But I enjoyed both of those movies a lot. No, excuse me, Far From Home. That's what I meant. That's the one with Mysterio. No Way Home is Toby and Andrew. And it's a movie that I remember being like, I'm gonna be real, there's some things in this movie I don't think quite work. I feel like the setup it's a bit much, like the whole thing with Strange. Like, oh, well, let me do this, well, let me do this. Like, dude, why didn't... It reminds me a lot of Shrek Forever After, where I like the actual movie, but I think the first act and the setup has a lot of holes. At least I think it does, so it doesn't quite work. But I still really love it, man. And getting all three Spider-Men together, I'm like, this is great! This is the exact shit I want. And like, Defoe is Goblin again. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, I enjoyed the other villains as well, but oh man, Defoe again is Goblin. It's so good. It's so satisfying, man. And then there was this. And I did not know what to expect going in. I've seen trailers as they've appeared on TV. Like, I've seen Spider-Man and the Hulk, like, having what seems like a fight. So I'm like, okay, cool, Hulk's in here. I know that Punisher is in here. I have not seen any of the shows involving MCU Punisher. I've heard it's great. I loved him in the movie, so at some point I'll probably have to check it out. We're going to put a pin in there. Let me go and take the pin out. There's definitely a lot of... Hope you've been doing your MCU homework with this movie. Like, I have no idea who the Hand are. I thought they were Shang-Chi characters, which I still haven't seen, but have heard was cool. Turns out they're not even from this movie. I don't know what the hell they're from. There's just these bright red ninjas. I mean, I like ninjas, so I thought they were neat. But, like, I don't know who the fuck these people are. There's a new Black Widow, and I believe she's in the Black Widow movie, which I haven't seen, and Thunderbolts, which I also haven't seen. I'm very behind on the MCU. I'm like, I don't know, she seems neat, but I have no idea who this person is. Like, I don't know who... Like, I vaguely know about Punisher and, like, his deal, but I have not seen the shows, so I don't really know who he is. There's this group called Damage Control. I don't know who the hell they are. I don't know if they're... Like, I guess they're kind of like new S.H.I.E.L.D., but it seems like they're not affiliated with S.H.I.E.L.D., and I don't know if Damage Control is part of a show, if they were introduced in a former movie, or if they are completely new. But, like, I don't know what a lot of this stuff is. Is it distracting? Yes. Is it... Like, sorry, let me rephrase that. Did it distract me? Yes. Did it affect my, like, enjoyment of the film? No. Because I don't know the name of the new Black Widow. I think it's like Yelena or Yelena. Like I said, I don't know. She's in the movie enough to be a fun nod and bit of continuity if you know who this is. If not, this is just kind of some weirdo that Spidey's interacting with. And I'm like, I don't know, she seems kind of neat. Punisher is a recurring element in the movie, but not knowing who he is does not detract from it. Like, his just, like, natural chemistry and banter with Spider-Man. And from what I understand, most, if not all of it, was just improvised by the two actors, just showing how good their chemistry is, was fantastic. They really do kind of have this older brother, younger brother mentality, or, like, that energy. And it just gets better as the movie goes on. I mean, Hulk is Hulk. Like, you're gonna know who Hulk is. And, like, Damage Control, they are a major recurring entity in the film, but you understand who they are and what they're about relatively quickly. There are big threats out there. We exist to try to control the damage that might be caused. If we can take care of the problem early, great. If we can neutralize the threat and make it something we can use to defend ourselves against Thanos, Doom, stuff like that, even better. Cool. And I do think a lot of those elements in the movie work. But like I was trying to say before I went on that tangent, I didn't really know what to expect from this movie. I knew that Scorpion was going to be the villain. And even still, I was like, I don't know. I feel like he's not the villain of the... Like, he's going to be a villain in the movie, but I don't think he's going to be the big bad. I heard that Tombstone was going to be in the movie, and I've seen a decent chunk of Spectacular Spider-Man and really enjoyed it. And Tombstone was one of the main antagonists. I was like, okay, so is this going to be more of just pure street-level Spider-Man, where, like, you're dealing with a gang in New York? So, not quite like what Matt Reeves' The Batman is, but something akin to that? That'd be kind of interesting, and that is not the case. Tombstone is essentially taken care of in, like, an opening montage. I was right that Scorpion is not the main antagonist. This is something where I am going to get a bit spoilery here, and I kind of have to. So the antagonist, their identity is saved for a good bit of the movie. This movie's like 2.5 hours long. I'm going to guess this felt like 45 minutes, maybe like an hour 15, like a good chunk of the movie before you actually know who you're dealing with, but you see their power pretty quick. This is someone who can brain hop. Like, they're in one person, and then they're in another, and then they're in another, and then they're in another, and I'm watching this going, is Spider-Man fighting Ino from Naruto? Like, what the hell is this? Who do I know from Spider-Man that can do this? Nobody. Like, I have no idea who this character is. I don't think this is not a Goblin thing. I don't think this is anyone in the Sinister Six. Is this a Spot situation? Because going into Spider-Verse 2, I had no idea who the Spot was. And from my understanding, that's kind of the point. Especially because, I mean, given the whole thing in the movie, it's like he's just the villain of the week and then becomes more and more powerful. So I'm like, is this a situation with the Spot where they had to go pretty deep into the rogues gallery to get this character, but there is a character who can do this? Okay, I'm intrigued. Like, from that stance alone, if I have no idea who the villain is, I'm pretty intrigued. But this is also really cool. Like, there's this one moment where Spidey's powers are kind of wonky. Major pin in that. But the powers are kind of wonky, and he's, like, testing some of his equipment. A web grenade goes off on accident, and then he goes flying back. And a guy approaches, like, hey, like, Spidey, you okay? Yeah, you know, just blah, 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 blah. Like, oh, yeah, you know, you're, because you're trying to deal with that monster inside you, right? What? You can't sense me anymore. And then, like, has this real, like, I was just captivated, like, anytime, because this character is played by so many different actors and actresses, but as it goes on, I'm like, I am so captivated by who this person is, because this is so cool, this is so creepy, And then at that scene, like, hey, like, I know who you are now. I know who you are, Peter Parker. Like, I'm in your house right now, like, puppeteering other people. And I know about your friend MJ. I know where she lives. You also know where she lives. You want to see who can get there first, and then just hops into another person, like, gotta keep, like, come on, Spidey, gotta keep up. Like, oh, this is so cool. Because it's something you see a lot in superhero media, is that, I have to keep my identity a secret, because if people know, they're gonna hurt someone close to me. And that is definitely what happened in the last film, like with Aunt May, which is why Peter here is like, I really have to make sure that MJ and Ned are as disconnected from me as possible. I have to make sure that Peter Parker basically doesn't exist, which, I mean, he's not in people's minds anyways because of the spell. But Peter Parker is a non-entity because Peter Parker has a weakness, and that is the people he is close to. Spider-Man doesn't need to have that. And if I can keep people safe by staying isolated, I'm going to do it. And here, you've got the villain going, that's not gonna work. Great. Absolutely love that shit. Then, a good little bit into the film, we finally see their face. And it's this young woman, and I look, and like, in that little bit I glimpse, like, wait, hold on a second. Is that Dakota Johnson? Is this Madam Web? I haven't seen that movie. Like, I heard it was terrible, and I really want to see it because I enjoy me a good bad movie. Like, is this Madam Web? Because isn't she like a telepath, or like she's psychic or some shit? Like, I only very vaguely know about this character and what she can do. Huh? Well, what do you know? There is a Spider-Man villain who can do this. And they did have to reach, but maybe not as deep in the rogues gallery as I thought. Like, this character had a movie not too long ago, but alright. Well done. For a moment, because of the title, Brand New Day, and I know in that comic, Spider-Man makes a deal with Mephisto. I was wondering, like, are we gonna have Mephisto or Blackheart? Are we actually dealing with demons? Maybe Morbius could show up now, I don't know. But I will say I was wrong. It wasn't Dakota Johnson. So, Madam Web is looking for this thing called VMAX. And for a good chunk of the movie, like pretty much until the last maybe 20 minutes or so, maybe the last 30, you have no idea what it is. I will not spoil what that is, at least not right now. I was wondering if it was going to be Venom related, just because the letter V in a Spider-Man movie, it has nothing to do with Venom. I will go ahead and say that. It's nothing to do with the symbiote and Sorry, I'm going to go and spoil the end credit scene because it's not a whole lot. There's like an app that tracks Spider-Man, and it's getting a signal from somewhere in space. And I don't know if that's supposed to be there's a Spider-Man on another planet, or if that's something in the multiverse. My brain first just thought like, oh, multiverse. I don't think it's going to cross over with Spider-Verse, but maybe this Nick Cage. I know he had a recent show. I don't know how it ended. I don't know if he's about to be in the MCU with Spider-Noir, if they're going to bring in Penny, if if this is Toby and Andrew coming in. But my brain just went, is it the symbiote? Well, it couldn't be because symbiote hasn't bonded like with Spider-Man yet, so it wouldn't make sense. But I mean, Venom was in these movies temporarily, like, because it was like the end credit scene of No Way Home shows that Venom was there. So the symbiote is technically here, and it still has like the Venom powers. I think. I haven't actually seen the Venom movies, but maybe it has something to do with it. I don't know. Anyways, Madam Web is looking for this thing called VMAX, and Spidey is trying to stop her and also keep, MJ and Ned safe. Punisher is just doing Punisher things. And now I'm going to transition into, because I think I put a pin earlier into, did I bring up Spider-Man 2? Like I said, I have a lot of notes, but it's not really organized. This movie is very similar to Spider-Man 2. But it's the opposite. That was a movie in which Toby was having difficulty balancing being Peter Parker and being Spider-Man. And essentially not wanting to be Spider-Man. And as a result, he was losing his powers. They were becoming more inconsistent. And it is about him finding, kind of that balance within himself. It's great. This movie is the opposite, where Tom wants to be Peter as little as possible and is dedicating himself so wholeheartedly into being Spider-Man that his powers are getting stronger and kind of starting to mutate. And there was that part of my brain that was like, is Peter Parker a mutant now? Like, are we actually doing some X-Men shit? Like, I don't know, maybe. Because now he has organic webbing. He's getting a lot stronger. There's these bits where, like, he gets really angry and then his eyes turn completely black, which look kind of sick as hell. And he's having trouble controlling his emotions because he is losing his humanity and what ties him to his humanity. Because he doesn't have anybody. He doesn't have his aunt. He doesn't have his uncle. He doesn't have his best friend. He doesn't have his girlfriend. Peter is a non-entity. It's just Spider-Man. And this movie is getting into, thematically, something that Higurashi also gets into. And I make that connection because I just finished reading Higurashi earlier this week. And it is that danger of self-isolation. That when you cut yourself off from other people and from the people you love, because you don't want to burden them with what you're going through with your bullshit, all you do is drive a wedge between you and them, and you are making your life far, far harder than it ever needs to be. It is dangerous, and you shouldn't do that. It also gets into... there was a quote I had heard, I think last week or the week before, and it was, just because you can do more doesn't mean you haven't done enough. Because Peter is so, as I was saying, like, so wholeheartedly being Spider-Man. It's, I can do more, I can do more, I can do more. And never making time for himself, never making time to rest. And you see how it's affecting him. You see how it's affecting his body. You see how it's affecting his mind. Rest is just as important as work. And just because you can do more doesn't mean you haven't done enough. Those were elements of this movie I really liked. I feel like that's really all I can say without, like, really getting into spoilers. So as I said at the top, I loved it. I cannot recommend this movie enough. It is hard to say, is this my favorite? Because I don't remember the first two as well. And the third one has its problems, but whoa, like, the shit I loved was shit I loved. But man, I loved this movie. So I am now going to give a countdown. If you do not want spoilers, go ahead and sign off now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Spoilers are now live. So if you've seen this movie, you would know the villain was not Madame Web. I was not lying when I said I had no idea who the villain was going in. And I was like, I didn't think Scorpion was going to be the main antagonist. I was right about that. That I did not know what character in Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery could just hop between people. Because this was not a Spider-Man character. And when I saw that face for a moment, I did think it was Dakota Johnson. And I was like, wait, is this Madame Web? What the hell? And then not long after, maybe 5-10 minutes or so, we get the reveal. And when I saw the name Jean Grey on the screen, I audibly just whispered to myself, oh, fuck. Both in the sense of, like, yo, Jean is now in the MCU. Like, we are going full tilt boogie on X-Men. And as someone who loves me some X-Men, this gets me very excited. Like, there was the Doomsday trailer before the movie started, because of course. And, like, oh, okay, like, there's a bit with Cyclops, a bit with Channing Tatum's Gambit, which that just makes me happy. We get to see more Professor X. There's like a bit with Mystique. I'm like, okay, like we're really pushing the X-Men agenda. Give me more. This makes me very excited. So the fact that then in the movie proper, all right, the main villain is a main X-Men, got me really excited. Also had me going, oh, that's bad. Oh no. Because I don't know how powerful Jean really is, but I know Jean is stupid powerful. So this is exciting, but really bad for Peter. And so, yeah, she's, like, controlling the Hulk. And it's like, yeah, no Professor Hulk bullshit. This is just full, big, unga-bunga Hulk fighting Spidey and the Punisher. This is great. And then his Punisher's like, yeah, I don't want to fight the Hulk. I want to do something else. Like, we just get like a 1v1 between Spidey and the Hulk. Arguably my favorite part of the movie. It was great. It was cool. Like, I kind of love this. Let's go. I think my favorite part of the movie, though, as much as I love that, and as much as I love the end, you know what? I'm just going to put a pin in the end, because I feel like I have a lot to say about it. My favorite scene in the movie is when Peter and MJ are on the roof. And, you know, they're talking, and she's like, you know, I feel like there's something that I remember, but, like, I can't quite grasp it. You know, I'm about to quote Kingdom Hearts, you know, it's a, what is it, like a memory is like a far-off dream, and a far-off dream is like a memory. That kind of vibe. And, like, she lifts up the mask, and they kiss, and I'm thinking to myself, because at this point we don't know that's Jean, but I'm like, oh boy, if this is the villain. Because she's in the air somewhere. Oh, man. Oh, this is gonna be, like, the most gut-wrenching scene in the movie. And just that reveal, like, right after the kiss and the hug. I don't remember what she said, but it's like, do you want to touch her? It's like, it feels good to hug her, right? But, like, whatever it was like, oh, I was right. Yikes. What a moment. Like, I knew it was coming. It was too perfect to not do it. Doesn't mean it doesn't mean it's not effective. And then when she jumps off the roof, then Spider-Man has to go save her. I'm like, okay. I don't think we're about to Gwen Stacy her, because we kind of addressed that in the last movie when Andrew saved her. Like, it would feel kind of weird to have this moment, like, he gets his redemption saving her, and then Peter like, Gwen Stacy's her in the next movie. But for a moment, though, I was like, I don't think so, but it could happen. And then it didn't. But I absolutely love that scene on the roof. So the ending. Number one, that scene with Jean talking to Aunt May, like, in Peter's mind, like, in his memory. Beautiful. Loved it. Absolutely fantastic. Was tearing up a little bit. I'll also say, just during some of the scenes between Peter and MJ, like, I think on the roof, I think there might have been, like, another one or two. I was surprisingly tearing up. Like, I didn't realize I was that invested in this relationship. But it is getting me. I am, you know, I'm a bleeding heart. I'm a sucker for a good romance. This is working. This is getting me. Good shit. Was loving it. Just that kind of, like, I don't know if montage is the right word, but I'm going to use it anyways. Like, that montage of the citizens of New York reacting to Spidey's injury and near-death status. Just, Peter gets to see some of that when he wakes up. But it is just a really beautiful reminder that you're loved more than you realize. And it's something, like, I don't remember what it was. I think there was something earlier this year, like, I watched, I played, I read, I don't remember what the medium was, that had a very similar moment, or, like, it resonated with me in a similar way. Where you don't always know how much people really care about you. And not because they're actively being assholes, it's just, sometimes it's hard to see, and sometimes it is hard to be expressed. we really do matter a lot more than you know. And just simple acts of kindness can really go a long way and resonate with people. I think my biggest criticism of the movie was it felt pretty clear to me that it's like, yeah, Damage Control's gonna end up being an antagonist. This, I don't remember what the guy's name was. It's like, he's got those red flags. Like, there's just like things he says, and like, I just don't trust you. Okay, and it's like, we've had this big climax with, like, you know, the Hulk and the Punisher, and it's great. I don't feel like the movie's wrapping up, though. This feels like it could have and should have been a climax, but I think it's more like the halfway or 2/3 mark, and like the basically what it is. And I do think the actual climax is cool, like Peter fighting the Hand and, like, you know, coming into like his spider sense, like his full like spider mode and shit. Like, it's cool and I like it. I don't think it's as cool if the climax is like fighting the Hulk and the Punisher. And fighting the Hulk with the Punisher. But sorry, I forgot what I was actually going to say there. I think the midway climax is better than the end climax, and I think the true twist final villain is fine, a little obvious. The VMAX reveal, like, it is the vent at max, is, on the one hand, it's a little funny, just with the dude the whole time, he like, VMAX, I don't know what you're talking about, and he genuinely didn't, and like, oh, that's what it is, like, it's just the fan, like, it's nothing crazy. That is a little funny to me, but in the full context of, like, this is what it means and what it represents, this was the last thing Jean's sister saw before she died. Yeah, it's fucking devastating. Like, look, man, I'm even saying, it's like, yeah, there's some things I don't like. I think one climax is better than the other, but they're still cool, and yeah, the true villain reveal is, like, fine, and it's okay, but Jean is the villain. Like, she is the antagonist for the majority of this film. And boy, she fucking delivers. Like, I never thought I'd see Jean Grey as a Spider-Man villain. And even then, I was like, I mean, I could see Jean as a villain because Phoenix exists. Like, this isn't Phoenix. This is just Jean. And just Jean is plenty. Like, it's so cool. Yeah. Like, I think thematically this movie is great. I think the villain is great. I think the action is great. I think a lot of just these interactions between Peter and his friends and his allies, it's great. Go see it. It's the new Spider-Man movie. Like, you're probably going to see it anyways. And I don't think you're going to be disappointed. It's good.